Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Choose Optimism podcast brought to you by Optimist International. Today we have Tom Majerek with us today from the Riverfront Optimist Club in Niles, Michigan. Tom, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
One of the things we talk about in this podcast first is your optimist story. Tell us how you got involved with the Optimist Club and your optimist journey.
Well, I come from an optimist family. My brother Jeff was a president of an optimist club, and he started an event that the club did. It was a youth run event, and when he was no longer in the club, and I moved home from college, someone approached me about getting involved with that event, and I showed up at my first optimist meeting. I remember it well. I don't think I said the Pledge of Allegiance since high school, and so that was comforting to do that again. And then I joined the club so I could be a part of this event. And maybe 7 years later, they asked me to be president, and then I got really involved, and I became a distinguished president, and then a lieutenant governor, an assistant governor, and I was just a great ride. And then we had a need for another group in town to serve a different purpose, and we started the Riverfront Optimist Club of Niles, and that club it started in 2002, and currently we do 3 music festivals, 4-day music festivals that are free to the public. Everything we do is family oriented, and we do summer concerts every Sunday, and all year long we have a Thursday night community table, which we bring all kinds of food and fellowship to needy people, homeless people, and just folks like us. That's
Let's talk,
kind of what I've been doing from the time I started till now.
let's talk about each one of those events. Let's break those down. Tell us about the music festivals, how they got started, and what it takes to have one started, and some of the things that you do to get ready for that.
Okay, that's a great topic. I started when I moved home. Not my town had, and this was probably about 1994. It just built a new amphitheater down on the banks of the St. Joe River in a beautiful public park, Riverfront Park. And so I had kind of dreamed about putting concerts on that stage, and there was a festival called Riverfest, and they were doing that, and so they asked me to join forces and start putting on concerts. And within a few years of that, I decided I want to start another festival, a bluegrass festival. And I worked with them for 1 year. And then after that, uh, we started an Optimist Club to take over the festival. And basically, we have music all weekend long. We have arts and crafts vendors there. We have food vendors there. And we have a carnival that comes in with rides and games. And the proceeds from all of those events, plus some sponsorships that we get, pays all of the bands and all of the infrastructure. We have to have trash and toilets, clean up, all kinds of stuff there. And so it started off as strictly a bluegrass festival, but then we found that we needed to modify that. So at the end of every day now, we plug the instruments in, and we don't really go into rock and roll, but let's just say it's kind of Americana music, a little bit of bluegrass, a little bit of electric music, and we finish off every day with that stuff. The younger people come out for that, and it's just been a great ride. Every now and again, we have national acts come in from Nashville, and and the community really enjoys it. And that's one of the things that we've always tried to do, is make sure that these community events were family oriented, and we serve no alcohol on the grounds, and it's just pure bluegrass, pure fun, pure Michigan.
These sound like really big events. What is the average attendance at one of these events?
I would say that throughout the weekend, we have maybe 8 to 10,000 people come through the park. It's hard to tell since we don't sell any tickets. It's all free. So you can come in from any direction, and the park gets filled from times, and sometimes there's lulls. But throughout the weekend, we think about 10,000 people come through that park.
What were some of the steps and the things that you found out that when you were doing this event that were really obstacles that you guys overcame?
Well, probably the biggest thing is, you know, our message. We have to communicate to people that we need resources from, money and other things, that, why we're doing this, because some people just don't see the value in what we're doing, that we're bringing the community together, and that we're providing low budget entertainment for families to come and enjoy. I mean, a lot of people that own businesses can go to Chicago or Detroit on a weekend and see a big show, but this park in downtown Niles is as good as it gets for many people. And we want to continue that, and we want to make sure it's free. So basically, getting the funding, getting the message out there. We do have this in a city park, so we have to work with the city. There's always politics involved with that. And then, we're all humans. So every now and again, you get people that just feel that something's not right, and you got to deal with that human element to make sure the festival goes smoothly. And we've seen it all.
Well, besides the sponsorships to pay for everything, how do you guys raise money on top of that without sponsorships to pay for all these?
So we have an arts and crafts committee, and we'll have 40 to 60 arts and crafts vendors down there, and they all pay to be there. We'll have 8 to 10 food vendors there, and they pay to be there. And then the carnival does well. And then we actually pass the hat. We walk through the audience, every other show, and just ask everybody to contribute. And we've never really made any money, but that's not our goal. We've broke even, and we've lost money. And in the years that we did have extra money, we provided more infrastructure to the park. So we put some park benches down there and some picnic tables, and fixed up the stage and added some electrical boxes so that we could put the festival on in the park.
Did you get any new members recruiting when you were out doing these music festivals?
Yes, it's interesting that people join Optimist for different reasons. And I always thought, there's three types of people. There's the type of people that write big checks. There's the type of people that love to volunteer, and there's the type of people that love to socialize. And we need all three for a successful Optimist Club. And so we found that there's music lovers, there's people that have joined up because they're involved with the food vending or the arts and crafts. And then, since one of our festivals is a Jesus Fest and is based on Jesus and Christianity, we get people that really want to be involved with that one, and they come all out of the woodworks. And lots of times, that's where we do most of our recruiting. And then they see the value in the other festivals, and then they want to come aboard. We were down to just a few members a few years ago, and right now we're trying to add a member a quarter, and so we've added about 5 members in the last year, and we're going to continue to do that. And there's a lot of volunteers out there, but we feel that it's best to invite them in one at a time and have them then feel that they're special and they're new, and then so I think we'll continue to grow. We probably have 12 members right now, and we'll probably have a year from now, maybe 20, but we have about 30 volunteers that are as active as our members.
How many optimists do you help out with these music festivals?
How many?
How many in your club are there on average?
Oh, we're a small club, but we have pretty much 100% participation. Everybody comes because we're a young club too. I'm like the only old timer there. Everybody else has been there in the last 4 or 5 years, has come aboard. So we don't have people that were active and are no longer active. Everybody's pretty much new and fresh and hungry, and the fact that we are doing an event where we're celebrating music and food, and other things, everybody's in a good mood, and they're having a great time. And it's interesting because these events go on for 4 days, and people are there almost all the time. They go home and sleep and then come right back.
That kind of puts to bed the rumor that, nobody in the younger generation wants to volunteer if you have that many young members stepping up to help with the project.
Yes, I believe that the Optimist Club I was in, the Noon Optimist Club, it was more of a traditional club. You know, they had the meetings and the banquets, and this club is more project oriented. So we do have some board meetings and some open meetings to everybody, but a lot of the stuff is done on the side. The arts and crafts girls will meet on a Saturday night, at somebody's house, and make a bunch of snacks and figure it all out in one night, and then make all the calls they need to and move forward like that. It's different than the way that I was used to doing it back in the days when everything was so structured. It's more it's more that people want to only be involved with Jesus Fest or only be involved with the Bluegrass Festival or only help out on our community dinners on Thursday night. So we have some people that just do that, and then others that are at everything.
How did you guys come up with the idea for a music festival? That's a pretty interesting concept for an optimist club.
Well, I'll tell you, it was my idea. I had I had a good close friend that was a music lover that passed away, and we wanted to do a festival in his honor. And so I went to my Optimist Club that it was, I had put on some events with, and one of the members said, "Well, why don't you guys start your own club?" So I went to the people that wanted to do this tribute to my friend, and they all said, "Let's do that, and we can make it an annual thing." Well, after a few years, it just got bigger than my friend's tribute, and so we did a memorial, built a little swinging bench that has his name and story on it, and switched it to the Bluegrass Festival. And the reason we did the Bluegrass was because we didn't want loud rock and roll down in the park, and we just wanted good, clean fun. And we figured bluegrass is very much an American music, so we we just put it on, and we went out and begged all the merchants for money. And the first couple years, we let the other festival, the Riverfest, keep all of the arts and crafts money and everything. We just went out and just managed the stage for the first couple years, and then the Optimist Club took over the whole event. And then eventually, the Riverfest disbanded, and we took over that festival. So we just became festival people from the ground up. Um, my love for music and my passion encouraged other people to get involved. And then, the Optimist Club is such a great organization to teach people how to be leaders and how to put on events. That once I get people involved with the festivals, and then now we approach them about the Optimist Club, then they come in and they find out that there's all kinds of leadership opportunities, which is interesting because when you've been in the Optimist Club as long as I have, I take so much of it for granted. And I forgot what it was like to be new and really want to be involved and want to be in meetings instead of have to be, things that we end up doing out of, I don't know, we feel it's our duty over time. But it's nice to have young, fresh people coming in that really not only enjoy doing the festivals, but they enjoy being a part of the Optimist Club. And so it's a fun ride, and they come along. They come along for the ride.
So your club is doing multiple music festivals for the summer. I mean, that must be a pretty intense amount of work.
It is. It's 3 long weekends, and there's one in June, July, and August. So we kind of just spread it out, and then our club kind of takes a break, on September 30th, and we really don't do much other than our Thursday community tables that except planning next summer. And then this year, summer for us starts on May 28th, Thursday night. And I'll tell you a little bit about this community table that we do. It's kind of our replacement for a meeting, although it's not really a meeting. Whoever wants to volunteer comes. We prepare food. We have friends that prepare food and send it with us. And we just show up at this amphitheater in the park. and we provide a meal to whoever wants to enjoy it with us. A little bit of Christian music, a little bit of praying, and some really good fellowship. And we do that every Thursday all year long. But that's when the members get to show up. We volunteer, we feed them, and then if we have any business, we meet, we talk, and that's when we get stuff done on Thursdays. So we have a board meeting once a month, but it's really these Thursday night community tables where we're not only serving the public, but we're planning our summer festivals. And then in the winter we move indoors to a Christian mission coffee house that serves meals a couple nights a week, and then we add another night to their offering in the winter. So that's a big thing for us, is that community table, because it gets us involved with kind of a community, part of the community that we normally don't run into. And it's more than just serving them. It's sitting there and enjoying meals with them, and you find out more about them and how they got in these situations and maybe some of their needs that you can help them out with. So it's a really good thing, bringing the community and the needy together for one meal a week. And then, since most of these people hang out in the park where we put on the festivals, I have many people coming up to me all weekend long saying, "What can I do to help, Tom?" And so we've turned some of these people that don't really have a lot to do with the community, we give them something to do.
How many people usually attend these Thursday night dinner meetings?
We usually have like 40 to 60. And, we have to bring everything there, all the tables and chairs and all the food. And so between 3:30 and 4 o'clock, it's all set up. 4 o'clock, we say a prayer. Everybody gets in line to get their food. We all sit down and eat. The musicians grab their acoustic guitars and start singing Christian songs. And then, we have a leader, and she will get up, and she's not an optimist yet. I have a feeling she will be, but she started this without us, and we joined her to help her. And Katie's wonderful, and she leads us in a Bible story and a little bit of a Bible study, and then a prayer. And by 5:30, we're cleaning up and out of there, and it's just a really good Thursday event.
So where does the funds come to help do these events like that?
So that event, all of the volunteers just bring their own food, whatever. And then Katie gets a lot of donations, because we've been doing this now for like 4 years. So she just gets some donation to buy, we have to buy, all of the utensils and plates and serving. That's, people don't have that in their kitchen. So she buys that stuff, and every now and again she'll get a donation and buy a bunch of beef or a couple turkeys or something. And but most of it's the volunteers, because I would say we probably have 20 volunteers, and on any Thursday there's probably 12, 14 that show up. Half of them are optimists, half of them are not.
So
So
it's just a giant potluck every Thursday.
basically it is, but we have to have some controls, because we're dealing with a certain element there. So what we do is it's all, they all get in line, and they're all served and by us. And then there's a certain time when dessert is available. There's a certain time when seconds can be had, to go containers, because it just needs to be managed. Because if you don't have a little bit of structure to that, then it gets a little out of hand for us volunteers. And one of the things that we have to do is we have to train our volunteers to be extremely patient, because the people that we serve can be very difficult, needy, and volunteers will feel like I'm wasting my time volunteering when I'm getting no appreciation from the people I'm serving. And we have to just explain to that in advance that you're going to come up against that. That's just the way it is. And for us to serve, we need to We just need to serve selfishly, and then it all comes together.
How much do you get any membership from these potluck dinners that you have?
Um, well, yes, I believe that we have a couple in the works right now, and I do believe our leader Katie is going to be involved pretty soon. So, as far as on the club level, so we get we get all of our volunteers from there, and I think that our club, um, because we've been such a small club and we don't have a lot of experienced optimist members other than myself, we do we're just bringing them in slowly. We could probably be more aggressive with signing people up, but we just want them to be good members. You know, there was times when I was a younger optimist president and trying to sign up as many of my friends and things as possible, and a lot of them didn't stay active for very long at all. And although I tried, um, this time we want to make sure that every volunteer that becomes an optimist member is committed to what we're doing.
What other events are you guys doing besides the music festival and these Thursday night dinners? What else is your club involved in with the
Well,
community?
we also do a Sunday night concert every Sunday night all summer long, which is something that another group in town did, and then they disbanded. So we just kind of took that over, and then we help out. Um, since we have the membership and we love to serve, we help other groups. The Apple Festival in town does a festival on the outskirts of town. We'll help them with what they do, and they help us a little bit with because they have a lot more resources than what we have. And so that we do parades, and we have some people that have went to the schools and helped out with some projects there. So I guess the answer would be we provide our club to the service of other organizations. So when they need help, they can call us up and we'll see how many of us can show up and help.
So your club's a great example for other clubs out there that you're very project oriented. You don't really have that traditional sense of the meeting like we are pushing sometimes.
Yes. And one of the members of our club is past international president Michael Listenberger. And he's a member of both of the Niles clubs. And he's always there at all of the events. But he taught me a long time ago that you can only do what you have the resources to do. If you don't have the membership to do a project, you can't do it. If you don't have a lake, you can't do a boating event. If you don't have money, you can't do that. So said acquire the resources first, and then you'll be able to do all of the projects that you want to do. And that's one of the things is that over the years we've got the expertise in doing these events, and 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 now we have the infrastructure, tables and chairs and all kinds of sound equipment, all the stuff that you need to do this. And another good thing is that we provide a venue, a place for other service organizations like ours to come spend a weekend, sell whatever, snow cones, corn dogs, and help their clubs with their projects as well.
What advice would you have for a club that's struggling to hold the traditional sense and to transition into what you guys are doing?
Um, I it is tough, and I'll tell you one of the things that we're up against. The newer people really want meetings and structure. And the older people just want to they just want to show up and do what they've always done. So, so I think that you need to almost provide a little bit of both, and that is how I encourage the arts and crafts committee and the other committees, the computer committee, the marketing end of it, to have meetings together and to build their own club within a club. That when we all get together, all the people that have done all of the Facebook and website stuff, they had their own productive meetings, and we do, because of the nature of the festivals, we do have a lot of little side meetings here and there between all of the different, members, that people just show up at somebody's house to get something done.
So you guys are moving, like I said, moving into a more project-oriented club. Are you like, looking to expand anything else? You guys kind of tapped out at this point with what you have going.
I think we're tapped out for about a year, but I do see a lot of the newer members are bringing up ideas, and I don't want to discourage that. But at the same time, I want to do what we're doing now well before we add anything new. And so I think we will be adding some more things to what we're doing. And since we've kind of have a contact with a lot of food people and arts and crafts people and many musicians, that we've looked at those type of things, you know and maybe a festival at a different place in the winter, indoors, that's just based on singer songwriters, have like a songwriter competition or something like that one weekend indoor, foods and arts and crafts. Those are the kind of ideas that we brainstorm about. I tell you what, we come up with a lot of ideas, and we have a lot of fun with brainstorming. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, let's put that one on hold.
So you said something that really caught my attention is you actually take new club members seriously when they have an idea or a project or something they want to do.
Yeah, it's hard for an old timer like me, but we do, and it's a conscious effort, um, because I realize how enthused they are. And I remember when I was the new guy in the room and I got shut down because, I mean, I started making a difference from day one, and not just with the Optimist Club, but with, some of this festival stuff that I was doing before I got the Optimists involved with that. And so I remember what it was like to come up with new ideas and have everybody go, slow down. Like, I don't want to slow down. You speed up. And you need a combination of the boat. You need the gas and the brakes for all these projects, I think. It's hard because you do have to know who to to encourage and who to get realistic.
Which I think is great advice for another club that's out there that if a new member has an idea and they want to step up, they should be able to step up and do what they want to do.
And one of the first questions I ask is, okay, where are the resources going to come to do this event? Because we're going to need volunteers, we're going to need physical props and stuff, and we're going to need money. And so once we have those, and then of course you have to have something that is a need in the community. There's been so many events I've seen happen by the Optimist Clubs and other organizations, great ideas, but the community didn't buy into it, or it wasn't marketed well, and the event wasn't a success when it was a great idea. So it's
Like I said, it's important for new members to feel like their voice is heard to make them be a part of our organization or your club.
yes. And I know that in the past with the traditional Optimist Club that's been around for 55 years, it everybody was a president. So it was like almost like if you joined the club and you were active for a year, you would get asked to be the president. So, I noticed that towards the end they had a lot of younger people become the president, and that's just because everybody else had already done it.
Well, Tom, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you taking your time to explore what your Optimist Club has done. Maybe it'll inspire another Optimist Club to have a music festival or these Thursday night dinners that you're doing. And I really commend you also on getting new members involved in the club. That's a huge push to keep membership alive in this organization.
Thank you.
How was that, Teresa?
Did we put her to sleep?
I don't think so. She's on mute.